What's the best example of someone completely ruining their own happiness or life that you've seen? One guy at work got caught red-handed stealing AirPods from the locker room. When they asked him to pack his stuff before getting fired, he apologized, said he needed to go to the bathroom, and then pooped on the floor. The funniest part? We work on an oil rig. There's literally no way to sneak anything out. He was a senior technician making really good money. He didn't need the AirPods. He stole them just for fun. Now his career is basically over. Every company in our industry talks to each other. He ruined his career over a pair of AirPods. In my previous company, they hired a safety specialist for a very well-paid position. Smart, charming guy, really improved our safety program. But he got caught buying gift cards and writing them off as company expenses. He dragged half the team into it because they were involved too. I'll never understand why someone would destroy their career for a few $1,000s. I have a friend, let's call him Jay. Smart as hell, but socially a little awkward, maybe a bit autistic. Still, he was making great money in tech. One day he was at a friend's house, and the friend jokingly said, "No one could ever plant a camera here without me noticing." So Jay decided to prank him. He had a webcam in his backpack and put it in the friend's furniture connected to his Xbox, just to see how long it would take for the friend to notice. The friend didn't notice, but his girlfriend did. She thought her boyfriend was recording them during intimacy and called the police. They arrested the friend. Jay found out and went to explain himself. He didn't think he needed a lawyer, assuming they'd understand it was just a stupid misunderstanding. Here's the thing. In my state, placing a recording device in someone's home without consent is considered voyeurism, which is an intimate crime. Jay admitted it to the police right on record. Also, in our state, all intimate crimes must go to court. So even though neither the friend nor his girlfriend wanted to press charges, Jay was still held accountable. The prosecutor and judge were as lenient as possible, but he was convicted. Now, as a registered sex offender, he struggles to find work, is harassed by neighbors, can't attend most events with his kids, and so on, all because of one seemingly harmless joke. Another recent example, a guy was a doctor and now can't work because he hit his wife during their divorce. I don't know the details, but the domestic violence record prevents him from practicing medicine. I once worked as an assistant on a school bus. We had one driver, let's call him Ed. Every day he complained about something, always finding problems. He was a real pain. One day, he got into an argument with our supervisor over the radio and got a 3-day suspension. The very first morning back, he starts complaining over the radio again. The dispatcher asks him a few simple questions, and he responds aggressively and totally unprofessionally. The head of the transportation department, our big boss, comes on the line and asks Ed to come to his office after the morning routes. Ed replies, "I'll come if I have time." The boss says, "I want you to understand, that's an order." Ed responds, "You understand, I'll come if I have time." All of this happens over the radio while we're picking up high schoolers, and everyone can hear. Then the dispatcher asks Ed to park the bus at the school after his route, because another driver will take over and drive the kids, bringing Ed back to base. Ed clearly doesn't like this and says, "No, I'll finish my route myself. If you want someone to drive it, let the boss do it. Otherwise, I'll finish it myself." The dispatcher asked him approximately what time he would arrive at the school. He replied, "When the boss gets here. Otherwise, I'll come when I feel like it." Around that time, he started talking about how he was being harassed and nitpicked, and that today would be the last straw, all while the bus was full of high schoolers. I didn't see what happened at the school, but I heard from other drivers that the police were already waiting for him there and pulled him off the bus. One of the drivers said he acted like an idiot until the very end. I don't know exactly what he was charged with. Maybe kidnapping, because he acted like he wasn't going to drive the kids to school until he got what he wanted. Maybe theft, because he refused to return the bus. I don't know, but I do know he was arrested and fired. A few days later, we were told he had a heart attack and died, most likely from stress. My younger brother broke up with a girl he liked because she farted in her sleep. He told me and our older brother that his love life has been in a terrible slump ever since. He had been dating a girl he liked, but then she farted in her sleep, and it disgusted him. According to him, there are things you just don't want to see in a partner. The sense of mystery is gone. My older brother said, "Yeah, exactly. The whole mystery was in the fart." I called my younger brother a total idiot, and my older brother concluded, "Can't argue with that." I worked for many years as a child protection specialist. I had a case with one mom. This was the third time she had been brought to court for substance use. But the thing is, she was just sniffing random household stuff. This was the only case like it in my entire career. She was genuinely a wonderful person, worked hard to get an education and a professional job. She was kind and beautiful, cooperative and determined. But despite all her efforts, she sometimes relapsed, and this time she had her last chance in court. The stakes were high. We worked together very productively. She spent 18 months in treatment, got a new job, secured her own home, and became increasingly involved with the children, who were also amazing. At this time, the kids were living with her parents. We petitioned the court for reunification, and the judge approved it. We were all so proud of her. We planned to fully return the children to her home a week after the court hearing. But 2 days before we were supposed to return her kids, she crashed her car into the entrance of a Walmart while high. She ran over a Walmart employee, killing them, and continued to drive until she passed out completely, only stopping at the electronics department. I found out about it at 5 a.m. I had to go tell her children that they would never see their mother again. My ex-wife and I had come to the understanding that, long-term, things weren't going to work out between us, but we wanted to separate as peacefully and slowly as possible. There wasn't much hostility. Our relationship just wasn't working. That was until I found out that some guy had spent the night at our house with her while I was away. If she had told me beforehand, I probably wouldn't have been so angry. I would have just sped up the separation so she could do what she wanted. But of course, when I came home and literally saw him there, I got angry. Instead of trying to talk, she started yelling that I could go to hell and that now she had a new boyfriend who would take care of her. I said, okay, packed my things, handed her the rent receipt, and told her it needed to be paid within 3 days. But her boyfriend, of course, would take care of it. So, she had to fully rely on him. He handled it for a while, but after a few months, he said that he really had no intention of literally taking care of a wife with 2 kids not his own. Then she had to spend the next 10 years working 15-hour days just to be able to keep the apartment. Now we're friends in the sense that I don't hate her. We sometimes talk, and she says that day was the dumbest day of her life. All they had to do was sit down for 5 minutes and just talk. Probably it was me. In my youth, I spent all my teenage years alone because I gave up too easily and was afraid of everything. I had no friends, no love, no dancing, nothing. I felt completely empty. One of my former classmates went into medicine, even though she didn't really want to. She listened to her parents. She was drawn to music, and I have to say, she was truly passionate about it. She was good at it, but her parents didn't support her. During college, she failed her studies. The last I heard, she left home and now lives with her boyfriend. It's sad that she wasn't able to follow the path she loved, and her parents are to blame. I think she would have been happier if she had pursued music. I don't blame her. Maybe she had no choice. Sometimes we have to disappoint our parents a little to be happier. I have a former sister-in-law who has been drinking for many years. She used to be attractive, incredibly smart, cool, and fun, but she had mental health issues that were ignored for years. Eventually, she got better and even became a psychology specialist. I think she's probably good at that. But now her life is spiraling out of control. She drinks more than ever, has already had 2 arrests for drunk driving, and I no longer let my children ride with her because she either drives drunk or asks someone to drive them while she drinks. Once she was stopped and handed my child a plant, saying, "Here, hold this." I can't get caught with it. She constantly cancels client meetings. I know someone who went to her for help, and I'm sure she was drunk during the session. Another acquaintance whose mother works with her fears for her safety because she has attacked people before and narrowly avoided going to prison. As far as I know, she is single, and all her boyfriends were either stupid losers who didn't deserve her or abusive tyrants who used her. I completely stopped communicating with her, but I feel terrible for her. One of my acquaintances married the daughter of an incredibly wealthy man. I'm talking 9 figures in dollars. She was amazing and didn't act like a rich man's daughter. And what happened? He cheated on her with a stripper. She filed for divorce, and now he's dating the same stripper, who turned out to be a psychopath. My best childhood friend had built an excellent life, and it seemed everything would go smoothly. Then she met a guy on a dating site and decided he was the one. He turned out to be aggressive and a drug addict. She was aging, afraid it was her last chance at love, and decided to stay with him, trying to maintain the relationship. Even though everyone who cared about her tried to help her see it was a mistake, She lost her good job, beautiful house, dream car, hobbies, most friends, almost her entire family, her dog, her health, and her last money. They ended up homeless. He became disabled with serious health problems. They lived in a car while she begged on the streets. They started doing drugs, stealing, lying, and committing fraud. He died while hiding from the cops after committing a serious crime. She was left with nothing, criminal records, destroyed health, and trauma. She's now in rehabilitation in a safe place, but she will hardly ever get close to the life she had before meeting him. One girl I used to work with decided to join OnlyFans and went all out on camera. But the truth is, only the top 1% make big money on that platform, while the average income is about $200 per month. If you don't already have a large audience, breaking through is almost impossible. Some people in her city, about 120,000 people, found her account. Someone posted her hot photos on Facebook, and basically everyone, including her parents, saw them. After earning almost nothing and with her photos permanently online, she quit and decided to return to work as a kindergarten teacher. But no one in that town wanted to hire her. She faced judgment everywhere. She had to move to a big city, and now she has a job. Hopefully, her new employer won't search for her photos. She deeply regrets what happened. I used to make decent money just by doing Uber Eats deliveries on weekends. There was this former pastor who was also my parents' best friend. He had tons of friends, a successful music career, he managed a music restaurant, had a loving wife and 5 kids. And then he decided to cheat on his wife. He became insanely paranoid, started tracking his wife's and kids' locations to know where they were so he wouldn't get caught. He installed hidden cameras all over the house because he convinced himself that his wife might also be cheating. She wasn't. He kept telling her to stay home, saying things like, "No one likes you. Nobody wants you to come because you're boring." All lies. My parents caught him with another woman at a concert. He didn't expect them to be there. They told his wife. She called him. He lied at first, but then slipped and revealed that he knew exactly where she was. That's when she found the cameras and the tracking device in her car. Now none of his kids talk to him. He lost his home, his friends, his musician buddies, everything. Even the woman he cheated with left him once he had nothing to offer. He doesn't feel guilty at all and still tries to convince everyone he was right. Now he lives in a trailer by the beach, trying to relive his youth at 65. My own mother, she had everything. A wonderful husband, kids she could be proud of. But her mental health got the best of her. Instead of acknowledging it and getting help, she started taking it out on us, sometimes even physically. My dad tried to convince her to see a therapist. Once I asked her, "Mom, are you happy?" She said, "It's not me who changed, you all changed." That answer told me everything. We couldn't handle it anymore, and divorce was the only way out. She was angry about it, though she also wanted the divorce. Here's just a little bit of what she did. She tried to convince the neighbors that my dad was dangerous and asked them to store her belongings. They refused. She tried to convince her own mother that my dad was dangerous. My grandma called her out, and Mom never spoke to her again. She acted horribly when my grandma was dying last year. I was in college at the time, my younger sister was in high school. She would text me whenever she got scared, like when Mom waved a knife in front of Dad. And believe me, that wasn't the only time something like that happened. When I came home from college for the summer, she tried to put me on house arrest at age 20 because she was mad about something I still don't understand. I grabbed my keys and literally ran out of the house before she could stop me. Right before the divorce papers came through, Mom called the police on Dad, claiming she had a restraining order and wanted him removed from the house. Dad ended up living in a hotel during my spring break. I visited him. He looked terrible, lost a lot of weight from the stress. That was the final straw. He filed for divorce. At the hearing, Mom tried to convince the judge that Dad was dangerous, but the only thing she complained about was dust collecting in her closet. The judge dismissed all her claims, rightfully so. Dad was our superhero. The only person I was ever afraid of was my mother. The first time she called me after moving out, she screamed at me because the $300 check I wrote for the car bounced. Technically, I didn't owe her anything. The car was legally mine according to their divorce agreement. I explained that she waited 4 months to cash it, and by then my fall tuition was due. I paid for college myself, so I simply didn't have the money anymore. She wouldn't let it go. She called my dad, and he ended up transferring $300 to my account and told me to call her back and tell her to try cashing the check again. I went through therapy and eventually realized that she wasn't always like this. When I was a kid, she was amazing. We rode our bikes to the library, went camping, did crafts. She was a very active mom. I think when we grew up and became independent, her identity as a stay-at-home mom lost its meaning, and she didn't know what to do with herself. She probably also carried childhood trauma from her own abusive father, and it finally surfaced, and she took it out on us. Her behavior cost her everything. She has no relationship with her kids now, and if I ever have children, I won't let her be around them. I don't trust her to respect my boundaries. Thanks for watching this video till the end. What examples of self-destruction do you know? Share your stories in the comments. Check out our previous video right here, and good luck to you.